freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same. And if you and I don't do this, then you and I may well spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
Hey everybody, Dan and Cheryl Todd with Gun Freedom Radio coming to you from the floor of the 2026 SHOT Show in
fabulous Las Vegas.
Woo! Right? We are so excited to come to this show every year and catch up with some of our amazing friends who are doing amazing work across this nation. And today we are talking with our awesome friend, Chris Stone, who is the Gun Owners of America Director of State and Local Affairs. Welcome to Gun Freedom Radio, Chris.
Thank you. I appreciate being on. It's always a good time.
It is. And this is such an amazing time in history to be in a place like this, around the kind of people that come to a show like this. There are people here from all over the world.
Absolutely.
And they come to the United States of America with the firearms that they make from all over, right? And they're supposed to be able to find freedom here.
Absolutely.
Right? It's written into our Bill of Rights, the Second Amendment. And yet we need organizations like Gun Owners of America because not everybody seems to understand the very simple 27 words that make up the Second Amendment.
It's true. Oh. We'll keep going. Sorry, the light fell. Excuse me. No, we're good. No, it's true. You know, it's interesting. Just yesterday we were talking to a lady who came here from Australia. And we're having a great conversation with her about how she's actually trying to do the same thing in Australia right now, set up a GOA, if you could say there, to advocate for the Second Amendment. And so we've met tons of people already here just on day 2 from all over the country. We've got vendors here, and I'm stuck to the booth the whole week, so I don't really get to walk around and see anything cool, but it is true, and it's a joy for us to represent our members and
Chris,
advocate.
Wouldn't it be better just to the people that don't like guns go to Australia and the people that like guns in Australia come here? Wouldn't that just solve the problem?
Yeah, that's what some people think. No, but we're always welcoming and trying to work with other people who are trying to advocate in their home countries. I know we've even talked to people from Canada that have been around here trying to advocate for their rights again. You know, because yes, obviously the Second Amendment is enshrined in our Bill of Rights, but what we always tell people is that the Second Amendment doesn't give us rights. It is that is our natural right. It's our God-given right. It's the duty for the government to protect and not infringe on that right and defend it. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen, so that's why we're here to be advocates for lawful gun owners, and we're actually celebrating our 50th anniversary this year. So it's a big deal for us, and we're happy to be here.
It is a big deal, and one of the things that people don't realize, I think, is that there is so much power in the individual, first of all.
Absolutely.
Right? And you encourage membership, because membership in an organization like Gun Owners of America causes our voices to be expanded and synergistically loud.
Yes.
But there is also so much power at the state level, and you are the State and Local Affairs Director.
That's right.
So talk to us about that piece of this.
Absolutely.
We always think we're mad at the president, or we're mad at, the Congress people sitting on Capitol Hill in D.C., which we are, but we're not doing our state level work, I think, as effectively as we could or should.
Yeah. I mean, state level work is vitally important, and you kind of touched on this earlier, that the real power of our organization is grassroots activism, right? It's getting everyday people involved in the fight, whether it's showing up to the Capitol, submitting testimony, calling or emailing your legislators. It makes a difference. We hear from legislators about that all the time. And in particular, at the state level, that's what I do and my team does, is we work in all 50 state capitals to both advocate for pro-gun legislation and to fight back against anti-gun bills, because a lot of times what happens at your state level impacts you way more broadly than what happens in DC. I mean, DC is obviously very important, but even the Congress critters who go to DC, yes. Most of them, they don't just, we're a normal citizen and they become a U.S. Senator. A lot of times they start on the school board, yep. Or on your local county board of supervisors, yep. And they become a state rep or a state senator, and they follow the path. So for us, it's important to lobby those people right away, make sure they're good, yes. Get them good, keep them good, yes. Get the voters involved. So if they do go to that higher office, we can keep working with them, and they know what they're there to do, which is represent the people and defend the Second Amendment.
So, Chris, we've been having a lot of people ask us, what's going on with the NFA? They took away the tax, but yet we still have to register our firearms. And I thought registration was not allowed in this industry.
Yeah, that's an awesome question. Our federal affairs team is working overtime. They worked for probably 2 straight years crafting language to get suppressors and short barrel firearms removed from the NFA. Obviously, we're no compromise. We want the NFA completely abolished. That is obviously the goal, is not one single word of gun control. And so we were able, unfortunately, there was a whole mess in the United States Senate where the Senate parliamentarian ruled against literally the United States Senate and said, no, you can't remove suppressors and short barrel firearms from the NFA completely. We'll get rid of the tax, but you still have to register. So on January 1st this year, 2026, we did get the partial victory in the sense that if you want to buy a suppressor, you no longer pay the $200 tax stamp, but you still have to essentially get the stamp and register them with the ATF. Now, there's been a massive spike in people buying suppressors, which is great. We love suppressors. It makes shooting safer, it protects your hearing. So we are still suing the federal government, the DOJ, to say, look, this is ridiculous. This is still unconstitutional. To have just a blanket registry, like you said, which is illegal, on firearms and firearms parts, because suppressors are not a firearm. Well, they shouldn't be. They're considered one, but they shouldn't be. We need to get rid of that completely. Yeah. And so that's our big push, that our lawyers are really working overtime, and we're working with a lot of great distributors here and groups. I know I was talking to some folks earlier who came by the booth who are contacting their members and their clients, or the people who buy products from them, and saying, hey, get involved in this fight. Contact your legislator, contact Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice, contact President Trump and say, stop fighting this. Support gun owners, fulfill the promises that you guys campaigned on and said you supported.
Yes, and honestly, that is one of the things that I really love and respect about GOA, is that you high five and support what somebody on Capitol Hill or in the state legislatures do right, do well, do constitutionally, but you do not hesitate or flinch when it's time to hold their feet to the fire and have something like the One Big Beautiful lawsuit, right?
No, 100%. I mean, there's good members in the House and Senate. One I can think of in particular is Representative Andrew Clyde from Georgia. Can't remember exactly what district he's from, but from the moment he joined the House of Representatives, he's been a defender, not just of the Second Amendment, but all of our constitutional rights. And he has truly gone the distance. Yes. And so we want people to know about people like Andrew Clyde who are fighting, who are working with us, who are representing the people. And absolutely, we support him. We also want to know and tell our members, the people who are just kind of either blatantly fighting against you or just not doing the work. They're just kind of sitting on their hands. So it is important to let our members know who's fighting for them and who's standing on the sideline.
Absolutely. So again, we were saying that state level is where really so much of the power and so much of the action happens. And, it's frustrating. We're from Arizona. Yeah. And we have California encroaching every day, right? All of their anti-rights nonsense. We've got New Mexico on the other side of us. They've fallen off the path as far as rights are concerned. Nevada's just above us, which is where we're standing now. They're not solid. This stuff spreads. I don't know why freedom isn't as contagious as the nonsense is, but talking about some state level things, Virginia just elected someone named Spamberger.
Yeah.
They could have had an amazing, strong 2A governor, but instead they elect this other person, and it's going to be an uphill fight all the way.
Yeah, we're involved. I live in Virginia. We're involved in a massive fight there. Obviously, Abigail Spanberger is a full-on leftist, communist, but also our entire General Assembly, the House of Delegates. There's a lot of good pro-gun, pro-freedom people who lost their seats. And so they have introduced numerous gun control bills. The day before I came to SHOT Show, I was in Richmond at our lobby day with our friends at Virginia Citizens Defense League, mobilizing people against anti-gun legislation. So we have a really big fight there that'll probably end up being dragged out into the courts. Again, we're going to try and defeat all this stuff in the legislature, getting people to show up, mobilizing our members. But it is vitally important to get people involved in state politics. On the positive side, we're also helping introduce a lot of good pro-gun legislation. Last cycle in Tennessee, we got a PLACA bill passed, which protects firearms manufacturers and companies in that state from being sued by nefarious lawsuits. So it protects the people here at SHOT Show.
Yes.
We're running that same legislation in South Carolina this year.
Okay.
So we're trying to mobilize our friends down there. We're working with great groups like Palmetto State Armory. They're talking to their folks and their clients. So that's a huge push for us, and we're going to try and do that in tons of states, just like we did and have still been doing with constitutional carry for the last 15, 20 years. Make that the number one pro-gun piece of legislation at the state level. We're going to do it with PLACA bills to protect manufacturers and dealers at the state level.
Well, I love that. I mean, we've been hoping for national reciprocity for years, but honestly, in the length of time, I think 10 years ago when I started with Women for Gun Rights, that's when I first really became active. I remember I sat down with one of our representatives and he actually giggled at me. He and his staff laughed at me because he said, do you have an idea of what needs to change? And I said, well, national reciprocity. And he chuckled at me and said, well, kind of good luck with that. Well, if that didn't put some gas in my tank, right, to be laughed at by your representative, right? But since I've been in this world for the last decade, we've been chipping away state
100%.
by state by state, and we're going to get to the point that we're like, we actually have national reciprocity because every state is seeing the value of constitutional carry.
100%, and it's a great reminder too that obviously we shouldn't have any infringements, but the reality is sometimes the fight is long and it takes a while. Just like you're saying, if you went up to somebody 20 years ago and said the word constitutional carry, they would have no idea what that even meant.
Right.
It was Vermont. It was called Vermont carry. It was the only state, really. And then slowly as time went on, places like Arizona, Alaska, Wyoming, now you have almost 30 states which say you don't need a permit to carry a firearm openly or concealed. Right. Same thing with national reciprocity. 15, 20 years ago, people would go, that's never happening. Or if it does, it's going to be some crazy system with fingerprinting and IDs and $1,000, registration fee. And now it's one of the most popular pro-gun bills in Congress, and it's written perfectly. Absolutely. And so continuing that pressure and realizing that sometimes this stuff, it doesn't take one election cycle. It might take 5, 6. And to not give up, not lose heart is huge.
Well, and having an organization like Gun Owners of America in the fight every day, those of us that have busy lives, we get distracted, right? We feel like, oh, well, we have President Trump and a DOJ Pam Bondi, and we have, all the people that are supposed to be super pro rights. Yeah. And so we kind of sit back and go, we're good. Somebody else has got the wheel for a minute. We do not have that liberty, do we? No, we don't have that liberty. And again, we're thankful for when folks in the federal government, the state government do what's right. Yes. But it is truly the power of voters, of everyday gun owners. It doesn't matter whether you're young, old, man, woman, black, white. We work with everyone. We're starting all sorts of different groups here at GOA. We just started our Hispanic outreach. We do a ton of stuff with women's outreach, with Women's for Gun Rights, which is huge, the fastest growing demographic of new gun owners.
you have to keep your foot on the gas, right? The second you take a little bit of pressure off, they're going to keep coming back. You know, for the left, their battle is I've said, it's death by 1,000 cuts. They're going to do something here, they're going to do something here, they're going to do something there.
Yeah.
So don't get distracted, don't get discouraged.
Yes.
Keep pressing forward.
Yeah, and the people that are sitting on the couch watching the fallout, if you can't get off the couch, at least join GOA so that so you can be a voice with them, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. You can go to gunowners.org. You can sign up for our email alerts. You can join there. It's only $25 or $30 a year. It's really cheap. We try to make it easy. We protect our members' information to just empower you to be involved in the process.
Well, I don't know what we would have done for the past 50 years without Gun Owners of America, but I certainly have seen your organization just skyrocket in the past few years. People are really understanding the power of the words no compromise.
Yep.
And we have not really had that in the past in the way that we're seeing it with Gun Owners of America now. And it's really turning that steering wheel back to the line that our founders set in place, which is the Second Amendment, which is shall not be infringed, period.
Absolutely.
So thank you for all you're doing. Thank you for taking the time with us at the show. Any last thoughts, Mr. Todd?
No, just join.
Yes, definitely join GOA.org.
That's right, gunowners.org.
And follow on all the social medias. That's where really I keep track of what is happening. Your X
account, Facebook, Instagram, absolutely.
I'm telling you, it's my daily news feed. It should be yours too. All right, everybody, stick around. We've got lots more coming up right here from the 2026 SHOT Show.